2 steps. Oh, hello. Welcome to Mash on This, Mashable's daily culture and entertainment show. It gives you tomorrow's biggest news stories. Today, sponsored by Ally's hardest working dollar. I'm your host, a Richard Quest with a furious love of aromatherapy, also known as Dory Greenberg. On Mash on This, we give you a quick rundown of what we think is the best the internet has to offer, so be sure to tell us what you think in the comments. We'll get to them at the end of the show. Let's get fringy with it, shall we? Fringe. If you thought your freshman year calculus professor was a pain in the ass, you ain't seen nothing yet. Betsy DeVos, our Secretary of Education, who might actually be afraid of public schools, has chosen someone to run the $1.3 trillion federal student loan system, and plump forgot to tell anyone that he was also the CEO of a student loan company. Gee golly me. Maybe all the private school vouchers that she eats every morning is taking a toll on her memory. Blink. The man's name is Wayne Johnson. Wayne Johnson. And the Education Department's statement described him as a founder and former CEO of a payments technology company. But the statement conveniently did not include that Johnson is currently the CEO of Reunion Student Loan Services, a detail confirmed by a company representative after BuzzFeed called yesterday afternoon. He's listed right here as a CEO on the company's website, right there on his byline. So let's digest this for a second. The guy's current job is happily reinforcing the current state of overpriced college tuition in America, because more student loans means more money in his pocket. And now he's in charge of running the entire student loan system in America. How are we supposed to expect any sort of reform on making college more affordable when a loan shark is calling the shots? Doesn't it just scream conflict of interest? Isn't it all breaking the rules? Let us know what you think in the comments. I, like many people, have a love-hate relationship with Dennis Rodman. I think he is a grade A weirdo who repeatedly makes very poor life decisions, but I can't help but be fascinated by him. Unfortunately for Dennis the Menace, though, the human rights organization Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation has zero love for the former basketball star, and it started a petition on change.org to have him removed from the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. The VCMF is directly citing Rodman's praise and defense of North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, who they call out as having American blood on his hands, of course referring to the death of Otto Warmbier. The Hall of Fame guidelines for removal say that a person could be removed if he or she has damaged the integrity of the game of basketball. And that's a hard argument to make, especially since Rodman's main reason for making multiple trips to Pyongyang was specifically to promote the game of basketball in North Korea, which people have dubbed basketball diplomacy. And think about all the players across all of the sports who have been found guilty of domestic violence, drug use, and weapons charges, and still haven't been removed. O.J. Simpson, still in the Pro Football Hall of Fame today. This is definitely a complicated issue for sure, but one thing is for certain: Dennis Rodman stays controversial. And if there were a controversy Hall of Fame, he would def be in it, along with Juice, for sure. It seems as though the slow-motion train wreck that was Uber's internal crisis might finally be coming to an end, because Travis Kalanick has resigned from his post as Uber's CEO. According to the New York Times, the investors sent Kalanick a letter titled "Moving Uber Forward," in which they asked Kalanick to resign immediately. This resignation comes after months of scrutiny following allegations of sexual harassment and discrimination at the company. But Kalanick won't completely disappear. He'll remain on Uber's board of directors and control the majority voting power within Uber. The $69 billion company recently fired more than 20 employees after an inquiry into sexual harassment at the company, yet the head of HR is still the head of HR. I'm a little curious. Coincidentally, or maybe completely on purpose, there is also some happy news for Uber drivers today because the ride-hailing company has finally added tipping to its app. Tipping will be available in 3 cities, Seattle, Minneapolis, and Houston, and the option will be rolled out nationwide by the end of July. Uber says the sudden decision to include tipping is part of its 180 days of change, which seems to be some sort of PR campaign to repair the company's damaged image. But will these new developments change your mind about using Uber? Let us know in the comments. Or maybe they're over here. Maybe they're over here. Travis Kalanick isn't the only one out of a job this week. News just broke that Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the 2 directors for the Han Solo Star Wars spin-off film, are no longer working on the project. Their departure comes just weeks before filming was supposed to end, which makes it all the more shocking and has left people wondering what in the heck happened. Both men and Lucasfilm's president and producer Kathleen Kennedy have said that it was the age-old classic of creative differences. But what exactly did they disagree over? Some anonymous insiders, aka not the most trusted sources, said the whole situation was doomed from the get, while others pointed to the fact that the 2 directors, whose past projects include the Lego Movie and 21 Jump Street, were bringing too much zany comedy into the mix, while Kennedy and other producers wanted to keep the overall feel aligned with the rest of the Star Wars franchise. There's a lot to dissect with this story, especially when it comes to who will be replacing Lord and Miller at the 11-hour mark. So be sure to read our movie reporter Angie Hahn's analysis about it on Mashable.com. It's a good one. We are in the throes of LGBT Pride Month. If I could death drop, I would do it. And everything seems so much more colorful these days, even in places you wouldn't expect. A hairstylist out of St. Louis named Caitlin Ford just finished a beautiful rainbow dye job on her friend's armpit hair. Ford told Allure magazine that this is the first time she has ever dyed someone's underarm hair, but that it was surprisingly easy to do. This is not only a fierce way to show your pride and alliance with the LGBTQ community, but it's also a great way for ladies to fight gender stereotypes when it comes to being clean-shaven and razor-burned. I'm rocking some pretty fuzzy legs right now, and if my armpit hair were any lighter, I would dye it in a second. So kudos to Caitlin and her rainbow-pitted friend for being so fabulous. And do you love this trend too, or are you a boring misogynist with no respect for women? Either way, sound off in the comments. We would love to hear from you. Bezos. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Not 100% happy with showing you this next story, because honestly, I think it's kind of old news. However, Sarah is making me show you a clip of a 4-year-old girl performing Moana's How Far I'll Go at her graduation because, as Sarah says, quote, "She is my spirit animal," end quote. Roll the clip. So, in protest of playing this clip, and for copyright purposes, I sang a little ditty in place of this girl's rendition of the song. Just use your imagination to what she actually sounds like. And also, I am a fan of her stage presence and her vocal technique of tensing up all your other muscles to get things pitch perfect.